when we think about all of this value that is important to you deliver to the user, right? One of it, I mean, a large aspect of this is obviously in the design of the product itself, which is very digital in its experience. But if we go a little bit, look below the hood, try and understand the role of operations, right, in
Hmm.
enabling this kind of like a good consumer experience for the product. What sort of role ops-led improvements can play in moving metrics around satisfaction, retention would be helpful to understand. So maybe you could give us a little bit of a picture first from your experience, how
Hmm.
you've seen ops play a role, and then maybe we can get into some of these aspects of how you think about customer support, how the digital and the physical world should intersect,
Yeah.
and a little bit around the process behind that.
So yeah, absolutely. I think I'll talk from the Flipkart and every company that I have worked with, right? One of the key areas, ops has played a key role in scaling the product. So even building this marketplace or like sellers used to submit via Excel initially. And there is a ops team which used to go through each and every product information, compare it with the image, so that the correctness and the completeness of the product information is there, so that it can go for listing. Right? Because one thing, we cannot ask a lot of information from the seller because it is a friction from the seller perspective. At the same time, we cannot give fewer information to the customer because it will
Right.
impact the buying decision. So how can we maintain that balance is very, very key. And the ops team, so initially we started setting up it's kind of the ops led product development which we have done from that perspective. Then we slowly automated each of that so that we reduced and uh, optimized for the speed of listing. So then let me talk about LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, when it comes to trust and safety, right? So you have a lot of post that's coming in, and we are building a lot of models, right? One is we need ops to train those models, and also we need ops to identify new patterns of spam, low quality stuff that's coming from the feed, so that we can build newer models. And so that's a major ops led product development for us. And then when it comes to customer support and, for example, payments also, right? The entire reconciliation at the end of the day is done by payment operations. And when you think about credit, right, there is a risk operations where risk team actually goes through the customer data and underwrites them. And what is the limits and tenure, what we need to give to. So everywhere where I have worked, one thing I can say is ops has played a real backbone work in order to set the product up, right? So one thing, we start with ops and then we understand the issues and then we try to optimize and fix for that. So that has been one of the biggest challenge. And then the challenge which ops helped us in addressing. And then the second one, even after like building a product, right? Of course, there will be a lot of corner cases, a lot of edge cases, where still we rely on ops, and they have become like a safety net for our product, where anything that falls, they actually help. And the third aspect is there are certain premium customer cohorts, right, where we
Right.
want to give a white glove treatment, where ops has come into play very, very well, especially when it comes to high HNI customers who are investing, or like a premium badge user at LinkedIn who is posting something, and if he's facing some issue, like what are all the things. So everywhere it has come as a savior for the product team. And whenever we build the product, we always ensure that we build it right. And we also work closely with the operations team because we ensure that operations and business team and everybody is part of the same pod. So they are in the loop to say that, okay, if these things come, please handle it and build a SOP for that, right? So working closely with the operations team has really helped us in like fast tracking the product, because otherwise we would have waited for a perfect product. Like having the ops team helped us in moving fast, because there are scenarios where ops team would handle.
Understood. And I'd also like to touch on one thing, right? So you mentioned it in the previous train of thought itself, right? You spoke about certain things around payments, you spoke about certain things around customer support. Now, nominally, a lot of people would think of these aspects of the business as, say, supporting or enabling functions of the product, not part of the core product experience. But in
Mhm.
my experience, I mean, especially if you take something like, say, an investing and trading app where payment reliability is so important,
Absolutely.
ensuring that you make a payment and it goes through without failure is in some ways a product experience also for the customer, right? Similarly,
Definitely.
I think stuff like KYC when it comes to onboarding onto a new platform, how touchless or how digital it can be, or in the context of e-commerce, being able to process a return very
Mm.
seamlessly and not having to go through too many steps as a customer. While these may not be part of the front end of the product experience or the core value proposition, if you think of it that way, it also contributes. It's almost like a product surface which sort of like helps drive value. So could you tell us a little bit more about how some of these supporting aspects as well have to be thought of, have to be kept in mind, even when the core product aspect, I mean, you're building a trading
Absolutely.
app, you're building a shopping app, but KYC, support, payments, fulfillment, all of these aspects also become part of the
Mm.
product manager or the product leader's responsibility
Yes.
and roadmap.
See, absolutely, absolutely. One thing, of course, as you rightly mentioned, KYC. Let's take few examples, right? So KYC as a product surface, right? So one, it's about compliance, right? You need to be like absolutely compliant when you are onboarding a customer. And bad KYC flow is a reputational risk for any brand. So when we build an onboarding funnel, right? So we have real time feedback and we have all those things as a part of the product. At the same time, we have a hybrid approach, right? So there is a human in the loop approach where one, they can actually reach out to the customer support because there is a contextual flow which we have built for them to reach out to the customer. And if there is a drop, right, then we can actually reach out to the customers proactively, so that because there is a drop off that is happening, that is more of a acquisition and activation drop for us, and we are actually using ops to re-engage the customer and taking them through the flow. So these two are kind of a major use case from the KYC perspective, both from compliance as well as the engagement aspect of it. So the other aspect when it comes to support, right? So earlier, I think in in like earlier e-commerce avatar, like help links played a key role, and help links and people, whenever product managers used to think about support, they used to push customer support as a button and they will hide it to ensure and they treat it as a cost center, right? Okay, hey,
Right.
whenever somebody reaches the customer support, then it is a cost, right? So now as we build grow, and I also see a lot of new age products, right? They openly give the phone numbers upfront, right? And they use customer support as a lever to build trust with the customer, because they say that okay, we are always available for you, like, and they are not seeing that as a cost center today. They are seeing that as more of a retention driver and NPS driver, right? So that is one of the biggest surface for us. And then when it comes to payments and reliability aspect of it, right? So one is, especially when it comes to investment platform and all those things, money matters and anxiety is very high, because I am investing something, and if the transaction is not complete, I am at the far end of the anxiety spectrum. Then I need to know what happened to my money, right? So
Right.
then it is whatever contextual help or anything that I give in the app, right? However, there is a need for a human who can come and provide that confidence to the customer, right? So that is very, very important, and that I've noticed firsthand, because I withdraw the money, and if the money has not hit my bank account, then I'm anxious, right? What happened to my money, right? Still, there is a trust gap. So, and when it comes to e-commerce, fulfillment, and other aspects, right? So of course, there is a lot of human involved. There can be like a broken fulfillment. There is somebody who has to be there for the user to reach out. So one is, till now, there has been a mindset where ops as a customer or cost center kind of a mindset. Now I feel there is a move that is like ops as a product, right? How can I use human and operations as a product where I can use them to re-engage onto the platform? I can drive NPS. So we are closely actually keeping operational metrics on, also tying to the consumer metrics.
Right.
So more than a support role, now they are becoming like a main product role as well, where they are actually pushing the consumer metrics as well. So that's how I am seeing it, and that's how I see overall operations as playing a role in terms of CSAT and resolution and all those things, and improving the overall customer experience.